Imagine having 1,500 followers, you're an attractive guy, and you lock down your 10 out of 10 girl. And then an ugly 17-year-old soccer player from your town DMs your girl, and within 2 weeks, she's gone. This is the reality of modern dating. It's called hypergamy, and it's basically the principle you probably know about, that women want to date the guys at the top. They don't want to date guys who are equal to them. They don't want to date guys who are slightly better than them. They want the best guys they can get. And unless you get in that top 20% of men, you basically stand no chance to get a girl that will stay with you and be loyal to you. But here is the catch. Even when you get to the top 20% of men, you can still get cheated on. You can still be dumped for another more famous, more attractive, more rich guy. And unless you know the things that I'm going to talk about in this video, not only will you get your girl stolen from you by some rich and famous guy, but you will have another rich, famous guy steal her from you even quicker. And before we get into the video, let me show you how I went from being this guy to starting to date in the top 20%, because I had to go through this transformation. Let's play the intro. Yep. That's me. And if you're new here, my name is Dan, creator of the Ferrari method. Before I had foursomes with hot girls in my house, I was absolutely horrible with women. In fact, I was so bad that even the ones who somehow found me cute, despite all the acne on my face, would literally lose interest after the first date. I was convinced some guys were just born good with women and I was not one of them. So I gave up. But one day I had enough and decided something had to change. And that was the start of a 5-year journey to master what makes women attracted, the language of women, and social dynamics. I went deeper on this than anyone before, and along the way I approached thousands of women and dated hundreds of them: models, students, teachers, virgins, hot mums, religious girls, rich girls, you name it. What I learned about women and people during those years completely changed my results and how I see the world. In 2025 alone, I went on over 57 dates. That's at least one new date a week for an entire year, and every one of those dates ended up in the bedroom. I never thought that a 5'7" average guy like me could have a dating life like this. I mean, this was out of the fucking movies, dude. And that is when I knew I was onto something. So I took everything that I had learned about women, psychology, social dynamics, and turned it into a simple, repeatable strategy called the Ferrari method. Since then, I have taught this method to dozens of men in person and hundreds more online. These guys now date attractive women consistently and live a lifestyle they never thought was actually possible for them. If you're a driven man doing well in your career, but your dating and social life is just not going as well, and you're sick of gimmicky dating coaches telling you just to be confident without getting you real results, this channel is built for you. No fluff, no bullshit, just what actually worked for me and hundreds of other men. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let's get into this. Okay, so this is a prime example of why being a good-looking guy and just relying on your looks is just not enough today, right? Because this guy arguably is a very attractive guy, okay? He's probably like a normal dude that would get enough or decent results with women, okay? It's not the type of guy that you would look at and you feel like, okay, he's gonna struggle with girls, you know? Like, it's not someone that, for example, like myself when I was younger, you know, you would look at me and you'd be like, yeah, this guy is probably not gonna pull 10 out of 10s. Well, I do now. So obviously, this is not about looks, because this girl has gone from dating an attractive, tall guy, you know, with nice hair and all the things that the looks maxers these days would say you need to do. But for some reason, she's starting to date a guy who is actually not as attractive than her ex, right? He's just got a better or higher status. And basically, this shows you in real time that, look, sex appeal and looks is very low in essentially the hierarchy of what is important to attract women, okay? Sex appeal and aesthetics and having a nice body, these are nice things to have, but status trumps sex appeal, okay? Status is more important than how you look. This is why some guys who still, for exactly case in point, who are attractive, lose women to guys who have more status, okay? So if you were this guy, what I would do, I would work on my status. I would work to elevate my status. And all status is basically the power, the resource, and your ability to provide and protect for a woman. Okay? Now, you don't need to be a famous guy, right? You don't need to be a fucking superstar soccer player to have some level of status that will keep a level of status that would keep women in your life, okay? You simply just need to have some level of status, slightly higher than the average, right? If you work a 9 to 5 and you're struggling to pay your rent and you're struggling to afford holidays, then you're probably not going to have a better status than a guy who's, you know, probably got a business going on, or he's like earning a decent amount of money in his job. And that is what status is. You just have to climb through the ladder of status in life, because you need to unlock more resources, you need to level up your money, you need to level up your access to power. And I'm not going to go into too much detail on status in here, but I want to address what is actually the most important skill that you need to develop with women, and that would have saved this dude a bunch of headache, and that would saved this guy's girl from being fucking stolen from him to a less attractive guy who simply just has a lot more status than him. Now, this final skill is called game, or female attraction, okay? And this is the most important skill that you need as a man in order to keep women. Because now we look at Yamal, right? He's got the status, he doesn't have the sex appeal, he's not an attractive guy, so really he's only playing the status game, and all he needs for him to lose girls that he gets because of his status, because he's a famous rich guy, is another more attractive and higher status guy to simply just DM his girl for him to lose that girl, okay? This guy, this wasn't fair, because this dude only has the looks. He doesn't have the status. He's a 17-year-old guy or some shit like this. He doesn't have any leverage in the world, anything that gives him status, okay? And he definitely doesn't have game, because he's clearly lost his girl to another guy. So this wasn't a fair fight, okay? This guy practically had none of this, okay? He only relied on his looks, which obviously, as we know by now, because of the hierarchy of what is important to women, he's very low in the food chain, okay? Now, the next thing, status, obviously, he doesn't have this. Yami Lamel has got plenty of this, but if he only relies on his status, it only requires a rapper or a famous singer that this girl finds fucking attractive, that she would have fucked regardless. If he DMs her like Yami Lamel DM'd this girl, she would definitely live this guy. Okay, she will leave this guy forever and just fucking vanishes. So if you do not have any game, if you do not understand female psychology, if you don't understand how women experience attraction on a psychological level, you're basically are going to be seen as, by the girl, as just a guy who has more status than her ex. And that's all she's going to see you as. She's not going to be devoted to you. She's not going to feel that connection with you. She's not going to feel like she will never get the same connection with another guy. And therefore, there's going to be the thing that is going to keep her with you and prevent her from going to date the attractive musician that DMs her, right? This is the strong chemistry, the strong mental connection that women build with men who are good with women, who is hard for them to detach, despite being approached or being courted by more attractive, richer, whatever the case may be, kind of guy, right? Even good-looking guys or guys who are more famous, who have more status than you, will not be able to take your girl if you have a strong game, if you're able to tap into her psychology and really make her devoted to you through learning game, through learning the language of women, how attraction works, being attractive and seducing to women. And this, if Yamal doesn't have this, he's just relying on status, and status, as we know, is not as important as game, and all it's going to take is another guy with more status to come and take his girl. So if this has made sense to you and you want to start leveling up your life and your skills and your game to get into the 20% type of dating, you can watch this video here where I approach this 21-year-old attractive woman in the street and take her on a date literally 5 minutes after speaking to her. And I break down step by step how I speak to her, how I convey my attractiveness and my value as a man, using game to go on a date with this girl literally within 5 to 10 minutes of speaking to her. This is the highest form of power, the highest form of skill that you can develop with women. Status and sex appeal and looks come after this. Without this, you will lose girls to guys who have more status, even if you're attractive or good looking. Make sure to subscribe. See you on the next one. Ciao.